Imagine you go to a wedding or event and the hosts have included the creation of this beautiful champagne fountain. And then later in the evening, they come in and it's a great ceremony with a huge bottle of Moet, and they start to pour the champagne at the lowest level. And the one glass they pour into at the bottom simply overflows and none of the liquid enters any of the glasses above. It'd feel like such a big letdown because we all know that if you pour at the top, you will fill the lower levels. And you could be doing exactly this with your weight problem. Hi, it's Michael Dawson. I'm the author of Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. And if you're done with food diaries, calorie counters and meal plans, I'm here to help you develop a 14-day plan to quitting your diets forever. And in the next 2 videos, I want to explain the principle and idea of the change pyramid. And more importantly, how this affects the way you attempt to lose weight. And if you'd like to take a 12-question quiz to find your own personal level, then there's a link around this episode somewhere. Membership on my website is currently free, meaning you will never pay. The following video is part of my full course, Quit Your Diet, and you can access that also around here somewhere or through my website. I'm going to let this video do the explaining. Let's get into this idea. I think it explains the resistance we all feel when we get into our diets, and in some cases, even it explains that sudden lack of resistance as well. Here we go. Welcome back. This is Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink, and my name is Michael Dawson. After the last video about ME&A, I expect that this will bring it into real focus now like it did for me. I'm going to talk about this pyramid. Now, it's called the logical levels of change, or the personal levels of change if you prefer my idea, my version. In this session, I'm going to explain what the levels of change are and where weight loss or any form of change for that matter fits into this model. And this is going to help us in the following session explain for ourselves where our personal issue resides up and down on this pyramid. This in turn is going to reveal which action or intervention is going to be effective and which won't. So before that, let me just explain a little bit about this idea. It's something that helped me make sense of the diet resistance that we all feel. It's important when we go on later to the real tools I'm going to teach you in this quiz program. So when it comes to working with the human mind and decoding behavior and motivation, neuro-linguistic programming is, in my view, the daddy. NLP, as it's known, has attempted and still attempts to offer a kind of guidebook to the human mind. And if NLP is the daddy, then one of its best thinkers is a guy called Robert Dilts. He came up with a fascinating thought model for change called the personal levels of change. This model works in every environment, such as, business, countries, football teams, whoever wants to make changes or approach a particular problem. So once I converted it to weight loss, it just blew my mind. It became really revealing. It seems to provide us with a reason why our diets rub against the grain and don't sit comfortably with us. And it also provides a reason why some people can become super slim quite effortlessly. This is important information if we are planning on quitting our diets. In fact, it kind of shows why we should. And in some respects, it can show why you shouldn't as well. I'm going to talk about what this means to you and me in our weight loss attempts or lack of. Before I do, let me run you through the basic principle of this idea. I've changed this a little bit to suit us, but it's still full credit to the genius of Dilts. But my changes were just for convenience of what we're talking about. I know it makes me look a little bit smarter as well. So here's a pyramid diagram of it, and it suggests that change happens at different levels. And as you can see in the diagram, they start at the bottom and they move upwards. And you'll notice as I run through it that the upper levels hold the most power and the lower levels less. So let's run through these before I give you an example to make sense of it. The first level is environment. That's clearly kind of where you are, who you are around. It's your environment. It's everything around you, where you work, where you live, etc. Then you've got behaviors. This is things you actually do or don't do. This is your actions. After that, we have capabilities. This is your skills and your knowledge. Above that is belief and values. This is what you actually believe is true in the world. What matters to you? What values do you hold dear? And then you go to identity. Identity is you. It's who you see yourself as, what makes you the person that you are. And finally, we get to purpose, spirituality, the bigger meaning of your life. So the theory goes then that action at higher levels is not just more powerful, but it will cascade downwards like a champagne fountain. So let's take an example of, for example, learning to play a guitar. So let's imagine you want to learn to play guitar, and let's see how each level kind of has an effect upon your progress. So firstly, environment. So you may have a musical family. Your father may be a musician, a conductor, your mother is a singer, or whatever. You're surrounded by music. And then there's the next level, and that's behavior. And that could be you go out to a shop and you buy a guitar and you pick it up and practice. Then we move on to capabilities. You've learned the musical skills, you know how to play some chords, you know how to strum, read music, and your skills now improve. That will take you on to beliefs and values. You believe that music is important and that practice makes perfect, and this keeps you motivated. The next level is identity. This is you starting to see yourself as a musician rather than just someone trying to learn an instrument. And finally, your whole purpose becomes music. You feel connected to music in a deep way. It's your life, it's your career. You would never do anything else. Maybe you want to inspire others or express yourself through songs. Why then would this matter to us? Well, if you only change your environment, i.e. buy a guitar, but you don't change your behavior and practice or your beliefs, you still believe you're not musical, you're not very good at this, then real progress doesn't happen. So here's why it's important to us. Let's say someone wants to live a healthier lifestyle, eat better, exercise more, and just feel good, especially without a diet. If you look at environment, this might mean stocking the kitchen with healthy food, might mean joining a gym or setting up some kind of workspace at home where you can work out. This has a little effect. It doesn't ensure anything consistent or any kind of motivation. The next level is behavior. So you might start to actually follow a meal plan, exercise 3 times a week, track your steps, and you're physically doing what you said you were going to do. You build a routine. But if you haven't got the next level, the capabilities, okay, then that kind of is where that's going to freeze up. So you go up to capability. Now you know how to cook really quick, healthy meals that the whole family loves. You understand about nutrition and you have a better understanding of exercise and routine. You know how to make these healthier choices because of the knowledge. Then you would become sort of beliefs and values. You might start to challenge the limiting beliefs, the lies from that little robot that you don't have time for your health. And you might replace that with, I think my health is really important to me. And you're starting to shift your values. Now kind of motivation is increasing. You've chosen to eat well and exercise because you believe it's important. Now, after some time, you could then do identity as a level of intervention. Now you are the healthy person rather than someone who is just trying to be healthier. It's your identity, it's who you are. So this affects, when you identify as a healthy person, then you naturally make better choices. You naturally will exercise because it's your identity, it's who you are. And then finally, we go to the purpose level, So that's the deepest level of change. So you've connected all of your health habits to a really bigger purpose. You might really believe in this. It's everything about you because of the kids, or preventing a disease or a health scare, or just having energy for the passion that you always had in your life. So this deep purpose drives everything below it. What's also important is that when we instigate these changes at various levels, then these interventions will cascade downwards. Not so much upwards, but downwards. Like a champagne fountain, the results will tend to flow down, but not so much upwards. The point we can take from this then is we should take action or intervene at a higher level, or at least equal to where the problem exists. Before I talk more about what this means to us and our diets or lack of, let me point out just one more detail before we move on. If you look at the bottom 3 layers, they tend to be external physical things that we can act on. These are kind of logical things we might do. And if you look at the higher levels, then these are kind of more internal. So in summary then, the pyramid of change, it's like a ladder of importance, and any action in a higher level will cascade downwards to lower levels. In order for action to be effective, then it should be at a level above or level with the actual problem. Now, the levels of change are a fictional idea that generally holds true in most situations on a kind of common sense level. So we've got to say, well, what does this mean to me and to you, right? We came here to find out when we could quit our diets. So now we've got this mental idea of the pyramid of change. So it's time now to turn that microscope on ourselves and our weight loss journey or journeys, because as you'll see, by placing our problem at the right level, then we can place our action at the right level. So in the next session, it'll become clearer why that gym membership didn't get used, or that diet failed, or we just stopped counting calories. So once we know that, we're home to the races. We're cooking with gas. We're firing all cylinders. Sorry. Okay, so in the next video, I want to apply this to our particular issue, and the fog will clear. Sorry, I'm doing it again, but you know what I mean. You can get your copy of the relevant documents for this course around here somewhere, and all the additional resources always free to you if you get signed up on my website as a legacy member. This is absolutely free right now. actionfactorypublishing.com/sign up. Thanks for being there. My name is Michael Dawson. This is Quit Your Diet, and I'm going to see you in the next video, where we're going to probe this idea much deeper and look at it from a personal level. So I hope that explained the principle behind the change pyramid. And in the next video, I want to talk about what this actually means to you and your weight loss journey. And you're going to find this really, really interesting. As always, as of now, membership on my site is free and always will be to those who jump on now. There's a quiz around here somewhere which will help you understand your own level of change before we get into the next video, which brings all of this together. Thank you in advance if you took half a second to lightly tap the like button, and I'll see you in a few days with the next video. My name is Mike Dawson, the author of Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. I'm going to see you soon.